We are in the middle of a sub-battle all month long here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report between our AFC West rival channels, the Raiders Report with Mitchell Renz, Broncos Breakdown with Matthew Peterson, and this is very competitive here between these three channels. As you can see, we've picked up 780 new subscribers. Chiefs Report leading the way, but we are not backing down, folks. It's still the first quarter of this sub-battle. Run up the score. We have some exciting coverage coming on the channel over the next couple of weeks with NFL free agency, talking trades. We are counting down to the draft and more. If you're a diehard Chiefs fan, you got to be subscribed to the channel to stay up to date with your favorite team and to beat the Raiders and Broncos. Let's prove that we are not only the best team in the AFC West, but we have the best fans in the division as well. Subscribe now, friend. We'll get started with today's show. I got the documents, folks, as the Kansas City Chiefs free agency plans have been leaked, and they are all about Ronnie Stanley. That is the focus of this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz here with you. Thanks for joining us. According to a new report from the Athletics' Nate Taylor, the Chiefs are targeting Ravens offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley to sign in free agency. More from Nate Taylor, who writes the following. New story, Joe Thuney did everything the Chiefs asked of him and more. What's next for the Chiefs? They plan to sign Trey Smith to an extension and acquire a new left tackle targeting Ronnie Stanley. Here is more from what Nate Taylor had to say in this article. When free agency begins, the Chiefs will target Ronnie Stanley, the 9-year veteran, who is the best left tackle available on the market, according to sources. Stanley, who will turn 31 this month, started all 17 games last season for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, make no mistake, this will not be a cheap move for the Kansas City Chiefs to make, but from moving on with Joe Thuney and some of the other moves that this team is doing, they are creating money to be able to do this type of thing. So you think about this, all right? With what Kansas City is finding themselves in, trying to fix this offensive line, to give them a fighting chance against teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, this is a necessary path to take that next step. It's like when you're a kid having to drink Robitussin. You don't want to drink Robitussin, but if you're going to cure yourself from a nasty cough, eventually you got to take your meds. And this is the case for the Kansas City Chiefs, where left tackle position's been a problem for a long time, and it's not going to be cheap, but they're going to have to pull the trigger and do it. And that's the case with potentially signing Ronnie Stanley here. You look at his contract projection according to Spotrac, they are valuing him at about a 2-year, $41.33 million deal. That is not cheap, but we'll explain more in a second. I believe it could be worth it for Kansas City here. Our pin comment today, should the Chiefs sign Ronnie Stanley? You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know. S for side, P for pass. 2 options here. Chime in if you think they should sign Stanley or not. Now, you may be asking yourself, who in the hell is Ronnie Stanley? Well, that's where we come in to tell you all about him, folks. Former first-round pick out of Notre Dame in 2016. He was a first-team All-Pro selection in 2019 and also was elected to his first ever Pro Bowl. And he's dealt with some injuries. He struggled to stay healthy, kind of took a step back a bit, but then 2024, a big prove-it year for Ronnie Stanley when it came to showing his worth and trying to earn that next contract. And the Ravens had some major question marks on their offensive line entering this season. Ronnie Stanley, to his credit, stepped up and he answered the call, and he had his best season since 2019 as he was named a Pro Bowler. And he's got a lot of experience, 104 career games played with 104 starts in his career. And if you look at the grades, the numbers that he put together this past season. Let's start with the grades, and then we'll go to some further stats here in a moment. Overall grade, I think everyone would be pleased with that number, a 71.0 overall grade. The pass block grade is his strength, a 79.6. When you have Patrick Mahomes under center, if you have a choice to be a better pass blocker or run blocker, I think you'll take the guy that's the better pass blocker. Not bad when it came to run blocking, a 63.4, but clearly pass blocking is his strength. He did give up 2 sacks, but over 1,000 snaps, playing the left tackle spot, you're going to not win every single time, but he still won more times than not. Did get called for 13 penalties, so that is a little alarming there, especially when you already have Jawan Taylor getting called for a lot of penalties himself. But nonetheless, still way more good than bad when it comes to Ronnie Stanley. And you can see some more of the numbers here for you. 4 hits given up this past season, which I know 4 does sound like a lot, but it would be a tremendous improvement from what we saw at this left tackle position this past year with the revolving door, starting with Kingsley and Wanya Morris and DJ Humphreys. And you did see some improvement with Joe Thuney in that spot. 29 hurries, but of those only turned into 4 hits and 2 sacks, so that's a decent ratio for him. Here's the reality that the Kansas City Chiefs have to face here. It is time. It is way past time to fix this left tackle position. Eric Fisher, former number 1 overall pick. I always liked Eric Fisher. Great guy. He had a very good run in Kansas City. But ever since he departed, this has just been a mess. I mean, this has been a problem for Kansas City. They started off with Orlando Brown, who ironically enough came from the Baltimore Ravens as well, and he and Ronnie Stanley were battling for that left tackle position. Ultimately, Stanley won the job, so Orlando Brown ended up moving on to Kansas City here, so there's some history. And then, of course, we mentioned everything that went on this year. It's just way past time. Eventually, this problem's got to be fixed, and I think you have to take care of it now because, quite frankly, this thing's gotten out of control. And I think where the Chiefs are coming from is you move on from Joe Thuney, and as much as that sucks, Joe Thuney coming off an all-pro season, a Pro Bowl campaign and all, you're sitting there saying to yourselves, look, if we're going to have a problem, if we're going to play a game of risk, think of it that way, we rather shore up the left tackle spot and the left guard spot be the greater unknown going forward than the left tackle position. Maybe Kingsley is the solution at the left guard spot. Maybe there's some other options, but if it's a matter of, okay, what's the better risk, you rather have the left tackle position shored up. And that's nothing against Joe Thuney. That's just assessing the situation, the problem that you're in right now. Nate Taylor, with more on this situation, said, Stanley's experience and value in both the run and pass game when healthy are why the Chiefs believe he can be a major upgrade at the position. He'll also be a dependable starter for multiple years. Taylor goes on to write, after all, the Chiefs have started a different left tackle in each of their 5 Super Bowl appearances over the last 6 years. Oh, that pains me to hear, but we all know it's the truth. Can't have a left tackle and a left guard issue both. And when we fast forward to the draft in April, Chiefs picking at 31 overall. Here's another thing. Some of you may be thinking, well, they just need to draft an offensive lineman. You're picking at 31. You have no idea who is still going to be left and if there's going to be any good options still remaining by the time you pick. Left tackle is the bigger priority. You have to fix at least one, and it's not going to be cheap, but I think it's a necessary evil for the Kansas City Chiefs to take care of at this point. So let's ask you, what is the Chiefs' biggest need this offseason? Is it left tackle? Is it something else that comes to mind? Weigh in. Let us know in the comments section. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Going to be a fun next couple of days. We are going to have you covered right here on the channel. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.